Battlefield 6 is not even out yet, and we just got a brand new exploit, and players are not even realizing it yet. The Assault Ladder, that is part of the Assault class, is a new item that's been added into Battlefield 6. It provides players with access to higher ledges, you can also do ramping with it, and you can place it pretty much anywhere. Guys, welcome to the channel. If you're just tuning in for the first time, please hit the subscribe button, smack the like button if you enjoy this video, and let's get straight into it. So the Assault Ladder could prove to be a pretty exploitive item that's been put into the game. This equipment can be placed anywhere at specific angles and can even be used to get vehicles over spots they're not supposed to get to. And if you were a player that was really involved into Battlefield 6 beta, you knew that there were some spots where you could get tanks to, and there were other spots where you were kind of like, maybe this conquest mode is not great for the tanks in the game. Well, people are not realizing that the Assault Ladder can be exploited in a couple ways. You can use it as a vehicle ramp and basically make a road to get a tank from a spot where it's not supposed to be in to a spot where it can be in to be used. So I'm really excited to see what players do with this. Now let's also talk about, let's go back in time here for a second, and we're gonna get out of the idea of Battlefield. We're gonna talk about Call of Duty. There's a lot of players that are switching from Call of Duty to Battlefield, and a lot of Call of Duty players might remember that back in the day, you were able to use care packages to boost up to certain spots on the map. I personally think that in Battlefield 6, players are going to be able to have multiple assault classes, and they're going to be able to take these ladders and make bridges to places they're not supposed to go. And I'm not talking about outside of the map, but obviously there's map barriers, so you can't stay outside of the map for too long. However, certain buildings overhang or have parts of the building that are not outside of the map. So what you can do is you can create these bridges by having multiple ladders and ramps, and then get to the buildings, literally have a spot where you should never be able to get to, and be sniping and all sorts of anything you want in these locations. Now, I want to talk about sniping real quick, because there's also been a huge change, a huge patch that has come to Battlefield 6 regarding sniping, the Scout class specifically. We know we love this Scout class, we love sniping, and honestly in Battlefield 6, sniping feels better than any other game I've ever played. I had the most fun in beta sitting kind of far away and also rushing in with my buddies with a sniper. The feeling of shooting the sniper and getting a headshot in Battlefield 6 for some reason is so satisfying. I don't think I'm alone in that. And I know the people that I play with, we were all freaking out. We couldn't believe how good it was when we were playing in the beta. However, there has been a change that is coming to spawn beacons. First of all, spawn beacons are no longer spawn beacons. They've been renamed to deploy beacons. And they also originally did not have a time limit on how long they could be in the game. They basically could just sit there forever and you could keep on deploying on them as many times as you wanted. This was great for the player who had a vantage spot. It was really bad for the player who was trying to make a move on that vantage spot. What do I mean by that? If you played in the beta, you might remember being on a very open map, having a sniper as well, seeing snipers on a mountainside, a cliffside, or on near a building, and then wiping out the whole team, moving down for a second to reload and looking back up, and then seeing another 5 people appear again in that same spot. Spawn beacons had no limit to how many times they could be spawned on. If you put down a spawn beacon and it wasn't taken out by the enemy, you could spawn on it 100 times and it would still be there and it would stay. And I did personally realize this when I was playing as Scout, and my teammates and I would just keep on farming the same spot. And don't get me wrong, it was great, but it did feel a little OP when it was against us. It felt great when you were the one doing it, and it felt terrible when you were not the one doing it. Now, the spawn beacon, which has been renamed to the deploy beacon, has been nerfed. You can only spawn on it a certain number of times before it despawns and gets destroyed. Of course, you can put down another one. However, if you are in a scenario where you have it spawned kind of far away and a few of your teammates have respawned on it, it will just blow up. It will go away. And you won't be able to respawn. If you die, you can't spawn back on that spot. So it does give not too much of a nerf, but it definitely discourages the lone wolf camping that a lot of people do in Battlefield. It's kind of creating more of a team mentality. Maybe there needs to be multiple scouts, so you can't have people with support classes with LMGs spawning in. You need to have people specifically there for sniping, and you guys could all bounce off of each other's spawners. So that's 2 huge things that are coming to Battlefield 6. We had a little bit of the fun in beta using the assault ladders. However, this big change coming from spawn beacons turning into deploy beacons is a bit of a change, because on these big conquest maps, it really changes the dynamic. It makes it so you cannot just be a lone wolf redeploying and re-sniping the handful of enemies that keep going into this one spot. You have to play more as a team, and it does emphasize the fact that Battlefield is more of a team-oriented gameplay. It's not like Call of Duty where it's basically just run and gun and just see how many kills you can get. Of course, unless you want to play Team Deathmatch. So that's it. What do you guys think about the new Assault Ladder? And what do you think about the change in the deploy beacon?